In the last video, we capped things off with the ominous threat of Bullseye as he encounters Elektra letting go of Foggy after regretting her decision to work for Kingpin. And in just a handful of pages featuring incredibly done action and a fight well fought by Elektra, she's fatally wounded by Bullseye. She then stumbles through the streets of New York to find Matt. She succeeds and then dies in his arms. What occurs after this is what you'd expect. Matt figures out who did it, goes after him, another fight ensues, but justice was brought differently this time around. Instead of catching Bullseye and getting him arrested, Matt makes a more permanent decision. As their fight leads across various areas of the city, they end up dangling on clotheslines in an alley. Matt jumps to get Bullseye off balance to make him fall. However, it doesn't end there, as Matt catches him and purposefully lets him go, plummeting multiple stories. After this, Matt mourns Elektra's death and takes out a lot of his anger on criminals and the like, but his denial leads him to dig up her grave and confirm that his first love is in fact dead. This turmoil and the subsequent years' worth of guilt and trauma made Elektra's death one that left undeniable scars. Except the story isn't over. Bullseye didn't die that night, and he vowed that he would go after Matt once again when he's finally put back together. And he does, as in the storyline Guardian Devil by Kevin Smith and Joe Quesada, Bullseye kills Karen with Daredevil's very own Billy Club. It's a sudden, shocking, and devastating moment that has never been backtracked or retconned. To this day, Karen Page has only returned as a memory or a dream or a guiding light in dark times. As seen in Daredevil Yellow by Jeff Loeb and Tim Sale, Matt is having a depressive episode and he decides to write to Karen as a way to cope and move forward. Just when I think it's all going to get easier, I close my eyes and I see you in my arms. It's as if a hole were torn open in the center of my chest. After a while, it starts to close up and someone has a laugh that sounds like you or wears a perfume that smells like you, and it tears the hole wide open again. I don't feel like eating. I find it hard to concentrate. I can't do my job, Karen. I can't live my life. In the issues that follow, we see the origins of Daredevil alongside the love that he forms with Karen, from their first meeting to dealing with legal work, enjoying each other's company, and getting into some of those precarious situations that I mentioned in the previous video. All of these culminate in a message about how he's come to terms with her death and is moving forward in a better way to honor his father. We also finish the story with the simple sentiment of, I miss you, and I will always love you. And with that, we'd probably have a clear-cut answer to the question, but nope. Enter Chip Zdarsky's Daredevil run, and that conclusion is once again up in the air. This massive saga is truly a captivating story that respects where Daredevil comes from, his flaws, and pushes the envelope forward in truly refreshing ways. But it also fixes Elektra. You see, Elektra, since she was resurrected significantly prior to this run, has mostly been written as an antagonist and a temptress. She and Matt's relationship could work, but it would require growth, which was only possible when she became the woman without fear. While Daredevil was imprisoned, Elektra pays him a visit and expresses that she needs his help for a greater conflict that has to do with the Hand. However, Matt isn't trusting of her given their history. She then makes the decision to take up the moniker of Daredevil as a way to earn his trust, but that eventually becomes more than just a ploy to get him on her side. She truly does begin to change, and both share the title of Daredevil, which connects them further and makes her, specifically, a better person. As the story progresses, both are placed in situations crafted from fate or prophecy, and they commit to each other and their roles in an oncoming war where they will have to be king and queen and husband and wife. And all the while, they fall in love with each other all over again. And Elektra really isn't the same archetype by the end. No. By that point, she's not only on equal ground with Matt as an important player in the story, but she's also become the goddess archetype. If you're unfamiliar, the Temptress archetype is one characterized by being an alluring figure or woman who's capable of getting the hero off of the path he's on, preventing growth and stopping him from reaching his goals. The Goddess, on the other hand, is one that is more about nurturing the hero, guiding him, and even walking the path with him. And Elektra going from one to the other is much needed character development that makes her a really valid love interest that goes far beyond what Miller originally designed for her. Now, I won't spoil what happens at the end of the story, but just know that she once again demonstrates at that point just how much she loves him by allowing him peace. But what about the adaptations? Well, in the 2003 film, I don't think Karen even makes an appearance, and Matt and Elektra are...
So does every guy have to go through all this just to find out your name?
Try asking for my number.
Yeah, whatever that is. But one adaptation has attempted to deliver on both romances, and that's of course the Netflix and Disney Plus series. If you haven't seen these shows, you really should. They're both fantastic, although season 1 of Born Again isn't that good. Anyway, the series primarily focuses on Karen and Matt's complex relationship while taking liberties in a myriad of ways that modernizes them appropriately and makes them, getting together significantly more satisfying. Elektra, on the other hand, is done in a way that practically makes her feel like she's ripped right out of the pages of Miller's work. She's also the most annoying character in the show. And that's not because her actress is doing a bad job, but because of her placement in the series where she enters Matt's life when everything is finally coming together with Karen. She's written to be a temptress and someone who delusionally wants to change or be a good partner to Matt, but her nature of being a freaking murderer gets in the way of that. So while they achieve in recreating Miller's Elektra, her first appearance and subsequent story with Matt ruined the relationship he had going with Karen, and that rubbed thousands of people the wrong way, including myself. As of the writing of this video, Elektra has not made a return in Daredevil Born Again, despite the show seemingly leaning more and more into the Devil Reign storyline from the Zdarsky run, in which she is a key player. And if she were to return, well, would we be seeing the same thing as the Netflix series and have her be a temptress that ruins the already strong relationship established with Karen? Or would we be seeing an adaptation of the Guardian Devil storyline prior to this? Well, only time will tell, but what about the conclusion of our question? With all this information and extensive history between these women and the man without fear, who is his true love? My lovely viewer, the only answer I could provide is that the one and only Karen Page is Matthew Murdock's true love. Not only is Charlie Cox right in saying that Karen to Matt is what MJ is to Peter Parker, she truly is so fundamental in forming the identity of Daredevil alongside making him a better person and providing a strong center that Elektra kind of falls flat. Elektra, for the better, in only recent years turned into an incredibly valid romance for Matt. Which, if we're gonna keep up the Spider-Man comparisons, I would say that Elektra is more akin to Black Cat rather than someone like Gwen or MJ. And yes, in recent years with Black Cat's development, I could see her being a more valid romantic partner for Peter, but that's another video, if you're interested. So all in all, does this mean that Elektra or any of the other romantic interests that Matt has had are invalid or lesser? I wouldn't say that. I would just say that while equally valid, none is as impactful on Matt's life than Karen. As for my personal preference, I tend to prefer Elektra as she is now, since that's just more interesting to me at the moment. But that's just like my opinion, man. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. I apologize for the late upload. I was working on some personal things and I was a bit swamped to get to recording, but we made it. If you'd like to watch more comic book related videos, consider subscribing, leaving a like, and commenting. Till next time, folks, it's your boy Foster, and I hope you have a good day and a good night.